"I would love to see cheaper smartphones, entry-level smartphones," Sundar Pichai had said in January while speaking at his alma mater IIT Kharagpur. Google attempted this earlier by working with manufacturers to create Android One in 2014. The idea created a lot of hype, but eventually didn't really work out, and that's what led to the development of Android Go. At its annual Google for India event on Tuesday in New Delhi, the company launched Android Oreo Go Edition. This isn't an all-new platform as the name suggests. It's a lightweight version of Android 8.1, which just reached select Pixel and Nexus devices. Google's Vice President of Product Management for Android and Google Play Samir Somat said Android Oreo Go Edition is designed to make entry-level devices fully functioning smartphones. With Android Oreo Go Edition, we're not only providing internet to every Indian but are also making sure that entry-level devices are fully functioning smartphones that can not only browse the web but also can use apps, said Somat, speaking on the sidelines of Google for India. Android Go. The details Google didn't revealed during the keynote. Somat and his team started working on Android Go in 2015. The ultimate aim of over a year-long development was to make sure that entry-level devices perform well with Android, Somat said on the initiative that was announced at Google I/O this year. "One of the things on which we've spent a lot of time while the development of the Oreo Go Edition is optimizing every piece of the operating system for entry-level devices and making sure it runs well," he added. Android Oreo Go Edition mainly consists of three major parts. Firstly, there are improvements to the core operating system, to help it perform well on entry-level phones. There's also a new set of Google apps, redesigned to run well on these phones, with features that cater to local needs. Thirdly, there's also a tweaked version of the Google Play Store, which helps highlight apps for Go devices. Together, these three parts help ensure that apps open 15% faster than they would on regular Android. Getting ready to go while releasing Android Oreo Go Edition, Somat also showcased a bunch of Google apps that are redesigned for the new platform. There is Google Go instead of the original Google app, as well as Chrome, Files Go, Gboard, Google Assistant Go, and YouTube Go. These apps are designed to take 50% less storage space than their original variants. The Google Go app, for instance, comes in less than 5 megabytes of file size, which is significantly lower than the flagship Google app that is over 62 megabytes in size. Google Go app. How is it different from the main Google app? The inspiration for the Android Go project came from Project Svelte that Google had initiated alongside the release of Android KitKat back in 2013. Similar to Svelte, Android Go helps developers optimize the experience on low-end smartphones. Third-party developers can also distinguish the experience on multiple devices by releasing their Go Edition apps, alongside their original creations. Do-light Android apps for entry-level phones involve much compromise. Somat said that Android Oreo Go Edition is primarily targeted to enhance the experience on devices that have 1 GB or less RAM. "We see there are a lot of 1 GB devices that are being shipped today, not only in India but also in some other parts of the world," he said. However, this doesn't mean that all the devices featuring the Go Edition would sit in the same price bracket. Without revealing any exact details, Somat said we're working with a range of manufacturers, so there are going to have a range of price points. Affordability will however be an important factor. Our hope is that users for whom a smartphone is their first and perhaps the only computing device will have an affordable option, said Somat. Android Go versus Android One. Google originally projected Android One as its flagship program to bring in new affordable handsets. But that development hadn't succeeded initially, and companies like Carbon, Spice, and Micromax were unable to reach masses with their Android One devices. Earlier this year, Google extended the program by partnering with Xiaomi. The second iteration of Android One expanded its price range from the SUBR's 10,000 bracket to under's 15,000 segment. While the success of the Android One comeback is yet to determine, Somat pointed out the major differences between Android One and Android Oreo Go Edition. Android One is not different code, it is a program that partners sign up for certain experiences, said Somat. It is independent of operating system version and is much more of a program than different code. In case of Android Oreo Go Edition, it is the same Android code, but in the code, it is provided that the OS optimizes the experience on the basis of given hardware. Somat also added that Oreo Go Edition is merely the first in the series, and a similar experience will be available with Android P in 2018. Challenges on the way. Despite the promising features of Android Go, analysts believe that it will be challenging for Google to have its rapid uptake in India. The challenge for Google has been to get the lower-end phones to provide a good user experience and also get them to keep moving to newer versions of Android as they are released. This is not the first attempt by Google to achieve that objective, and certainly not an easy thing to get OEM buy-in. There is also a bit of flux in the low-end market where so much activity is taking place, with Jio pushing smarter feature phones. Some other local vendors and telcos are driving low effective price smartphones. IDC Asia Pacific Senior Research Manager Kiranjit Kaur told Gadgets 360. Tarun Pathak, Associate Director of Mobile Devices and Ecosystems, Counterpoint Research added that Android Oreo Go Edition is an indication that Google is going after the bottom of pyramid users. The sweet spot for entry-level smartphones in India is $75 or 5,000 rupees, as in the sub-$50 segment under Rs. 3,000 customers don't have many options to go for devices that offer a good value for money proposition, said Pathak. As a result of which smartphones between 2,000 rupees and 3,000 rupees had only 2% market share in India. Pathak also highlights that optimizing the experience in the low-end smartphones in India will help local brands increase their existing portfolio to counter JioPhone and other compelling options. Having said that, Google's attempt with Android Oreo Go Edition would bring the latest Android with tons of optimizations to a mass level, overcoming the issue of an inferior experience on low-budget smartphones. The new initiative would also give another way to the search giant to stay connected with the next billion users from developing regions like India, exposing people to Google services including Search, Maps, and YouTube, among others. We discussed Google's announcements for India, including Google Maps two-wheeler mode, Android Oreo Go, and Google Tez on Orbital, our weekly technology podcast. You can listen to it via Apple Podcasts or RSS, or just listen to this episode by hitting the play button below.